All right, let's just jump right into it, because what we're about to talk about isn't just another update. This is a huge, huge moment for the entire on-chain world, a real game changer for how we think about adoption.
And look, that's not some kind of clickbait headline. I mean it literally. We're talking about the actual fundamental payment systems of the fourth largest economy in the world. And guess where it's all happening? You got it, right here on Avalanche.
You know, for so long we've all been hearing about pilot programs and little proof of concepts. This is not that. This is the real deal. We're talking full-scale, live, production-ready systems. So, who's the giant making this massive move?
Okay, so let's pull back the curtain on the company behind all this, TIS Inc. Now, you might not know that name off the top of your head, but believe me, in Japan, they are an absolute titan. They're basically the foundation the whole financial system is built on. To really get a sense of just how big we're talking, check out this number, 300 trillion yen. That's what TIS's PAYCIERGE platform handles in B2C transactions every single year. Let me translate that for you. That's over 2 trillion US dollars. And honestly, that's just the tip of the iceberg.
And it's not just about the volume of money, right? It's about the people. The biggest credit card companies in Japan, the ones that rely on TIS, they serve a whopping 200 million people combined. This isn't some niche enterprise tool. We're talking about the infrastructure that touches everyday life for an entire nation.
I mean, this chart just says it all, doesn't it? They're behind 80% of all the branded debit accounts in Japan. They handle half of all the credit card processing. They're not part of the system, they pretty much are the system. So what happens when a player this big decides to build on-chain?
Well, what happens is they take all that trust, all that reliability they've built up over decades, and they bring it into the future. They're building the next generation of digital finance, and it's all centered around something they call the multi-token platform.
Now, don't let the name fool you. This is way more than just a place to launch a token. Think of it as the foundational plumbing for Japan's entire new digital economy. It's built from the ground up to be secure, permissioned. Basically, it's designed to meet the super high standards you need for things like privacy and uptime when you're talking about national finance.
So what kind of stuff can it actually do? Well, pretty much the whole shebang when it comes to digital assets. We're talking stablecoins to make payments way more efficient, tokenized deposits directly from banks, and even digital securities. And the best part, it all works together seamlessly in one system.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. The leadership at TIS is all in. They see this platform as the key to actually getting tokenization out there into the real world, used by real people and businesses. They know where things are headed, and they're not waiting around.
Okay, so this brings us to the big one. The question I know everyone in our community is asking. With all of this on the line, why Avalanche? Why here? Seriously, just let that sink in. This isn't some startup side project. This is the financial infrastructure for an entire G7 nation. The choice of which blockchain to build on isn't just important, it's absolutely everything. Well, the answer really boils down to 3 core things. First, it's about future-proofing. With an Avalanche subnet, TIS gets its own custom blockchain. They have total control and can adapt and grow however they need to. Second, you've got performance that enterprises can actually rely on. We're talking sub-second finality. For finance, that's not a luxury, it's a must-have. Transactions are final instantly. And third, and this is so crucial, you have the production-ready services from AvaCloud. This is a game changer. It means a huge company like TIS doesn't have to become a blockchain expert overnight. AvaCloud handles all the heavy lifting, all the complexity, so TIS can just focus on building amazing products. I mean, this quote really just hits the nail on the head, right? When the stakes are this high, you can't mess around with tech that isn't absolutely rock solid. You need something that's built for the long haul, something you can depend on, no questions asked.
And you can just feel that confidence coming from the team at AvaCloud. Their CEO, Nick Musalam, called this a watershed moment, and he's spot on. This isn't about what if anymore. This partnership, this is the proof that on-chain finance is moving out of the lab and into the real world, right now.
So let's zoom out for a second. What's the bigger takeaway here? Because this story, it's much bigger than just Japan. What we're seeing is a preview of what the future of global finance is going to look like.
You know, there's this idea that blockchain is all about disruption and tearing everything down. But what TIS and Avalanche are really showing us is that modernization is about evolution. It's about taking the trust that's been built over decades and upgrading it, re-engineering it for a world that needs to be faster, more open, and more efficient. And once you have this new foundation in place, oh man, the possibilities are just incredible. Think about it. Businesses getting real-time accounting, no more waiting. Liquidity that you can program to flow exactly where it needs to go, instantly. Cross-border payments that just work, without all the friction and delays. That's the kind of new economy we're talking about.
So there you have it. Japan, with TIS, is drawing a line in the sand. They are setting a brand new standard for what on-chain finance looks like at a national level. They've shown everyone the way forward. The only question left is, who's going to be next?